think everybody in the basketball community can agree that ESPN's top 100 list was not very good. And that's putting it nicely. And in today's video, I'm going to be re-ranking this list and all the players, but I'm going to be giving a range that I think every player should fall into. That way, if we don't agree on the specific spot, then we hopefully can agree that this player should fall in a certain range. And I'm trying to limit my bias as much as possible in it. And I will be putting the list at the end with the rearranged order, but the only way to hear the range of each player is by watching this video. So I hope you enjoy. So as you can see, I have the list right here. We're just going to start from 50 and go all the way down, talking about all the players. And yeah, I have notes. Don't worry. I'm not just doing it at random. I got notes. Don't you even worry about it. But the first player is number 50, Jared Allen. He is falling out of the top 50. Do I need to explain? I don't think so. I just can name 50 players better than him. DeAndre Ayton, Andre Drummond 2.0. He might have crazy stats in Portland, but he is not a winning basketball player. So I find it very hard for me to even rank him in the top, 50? Yeah. So he's fallen out of the top 50 in my eyes. And did I have any other notes? Yeah, no. But then we go to 48, LaMelo Ball. I'm not a big fan of LaMelo Ball, but this is disrespectful. I can say he's deserving of a top 40 spot at least. Let's see where I have him. I have him at 40 on my list, and I think he can fall in between the 30 to 40 range. I just personally have him at 40. But yeah, disrespectful to LaMelo. And then Wembanyama is here at 47, right? I am not ranking a rookie in the top 50 without seeing him play. And then Chris Middleton. I love Chris Middleton. It really hurts me to say that he is not as good as he was. Now, I'm expecting a bounce back for Middleton, but based on the three factors I'm considering, he's at 49 in my personal opinion. I think ESPN actually kind of got it right. I think he falls between 45 and 50. Julius Randle is at 45. He might be one of the worst playoff performers of NBA history, but I will give him credit. He did get hurt right before the playoffs, so he was out of rhythm. He did average 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. And I think putting him at 45 is very, very disrespectful. But I put him in the 30 to 35 range, and I have him at 35. ESPN had CJ McCollum at 44. Let's just be honest. He is not top 50 anymore. He's a great 3 option for the Pelicans, but this is a little bit too high. I love CJ, but he's not top 50. The first very, very questionable ESPN ranking is James Harden at 43. Yeah, they have Maxey higher than him, which is crazy. James Harden, as much as I hate him, 43 is utterly disrespectful, as I said when I was reacting. But I say he is at least in the top 30. Preferably 25 to 30 range. I have him at 26 on my list, but 43 is very, very terrible. And then we're just going to talk about let's just go down real quick. And then we look at Tyrese Maxey. I don't think he's top 50 yet. I love Maxey, but he's just not top 50 yet. And right after Tyrese Maxey, we have another guy that's fallen out of the top 50, and that's Klay Thompson, who they put at 42nd. I just don't think he had a good year last year, and I'm basing everything off of last year. I do think there's 50 players better than Klay Thompson. I think a lot of the NBA world can agree, especially after last year. Number 40, Evan Mobley. I love Evan Mobley. I'm a Evan Mobley glazer, but he's becoming pretty overrated. And I'm one of the people that's overrating him. Don't get me wrong, but 40's a little high. I think he's between the 45-55 range. I have him at 50 on my list personally as of right now. But yeah, he's becoming overrated. I think they got DeMar DeRozan right at 39. He's 39 on my list. And I think as long as you have him between the 35 and 40 range, it's respectable ranking and it's quality ranking. I think Zach LaVine's better than Jaylen Brown, but did I put him ahead of Jaylen Brown when I re-ranked it? No, but I think 38 is disrespectful. I think he's between 30 and 35, and I respectfully have him at 33. Bradley Beal is going to average 24 points on 50, 40, 90 shooting next year, but this is based on this year, not next year, and that's why I think ESPN actually did a good job with Bradley Beal's ranking. Now, he's going to go up a lot next year, I think, but I have him between the 33 and 38 range, and personally, I put him at 36. I think Darius Garland's one of the hardest players to rank right now. I have him at 47. I think 36 is a little high. I think he should fall anywhere in the 40s. He's definitely top 50, though. Don't get me wrong. Ja Morant as 35. I don't think the guns issue is so crazy to put him down 15 spots from where he should definitively be. But apparently ESPN does. You're gonna say what you want. But Ja Morant, I'm gonna quote. I wrote these stats. In Game 3 against the Lakers, he had 45 points, 13 assists, and 9 rebounds with a broken hand on his shooting hand, his right hand. It was broke. It was his first game back. And he had 45 points, 13 assists, and 9 rebounds. And you're telling me that there's 34 players that could actually do that in front of him? No. I would say there's about 12 players that definitively can do that. And I think Ja Morant should definitively be between the 13 and 18 spots. I have him as 15th on my list. And now at 34, let's just scroll down to 34. Kyrie Irving. Oh my goodness. I thought Ja Morant's was bad. I mean, Ja Morant's is way worse, but Kyrie Irving, come on. We got to stop with the Kyrie slander. The disrespect to Kyrie. I think the narrative around him is very over-exaggerated at times. But I look at Kyrie, he is one of the best pure scorers in the NBA right now, and I don't think 34 is showing him any type of respect. I think he should be between the 17th and 22nd spots in that range. And I have him as 21st on my list, but I really wanted to put him in the top 20. But again, reliability is one of the 3 components on this list, so I didn't. ESPN ranked Mikal Bridges at 33. I love Mikal Bridges, but 33 is a little bit too high based on 16 games. I would say he falls between the 40 and 45 range. I have him as 41st personally. Jalen Brunson at 32. I know Knicks fans hated that. I hated that. I think he should fall anywhere between 25 and 30. And I personally have him as a top 25 player at 25 right now. Jaren Jackson Jr. was at 31. Yes, he can block shots and he can defend, but you're putting him ahead of guys that are a lot better than him. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is 35 to 40. He has to go a whole nother level offensively, and his defense, he jumps for everything. He's in foul trouble constantly. I think there's a lot of learning he has to do. I'd say he's the 37th best player in the NBA right now, but 35 to 40 is his respectful range. My first reaction of Paolo being 30 was that it's very, 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 very high. And I still think that it's very, very high. I don't think he's a top 30 player in the NBA yet. I don't think he will be after next year. I think between the 40s and 50s range, 40-50 range is respectful. And I think he's at 46 in my eyes. Trae Young is very interesting and very intriguing when it comes to rankings because you look at him, his offense. He's one of the best offensive players in the league. But his defense is so bad, but it's also really over-exaggerated. Like, Kyrie's not good at defense. Luka's not good at defense. Curry's not good at defense. Dame's not good at defense. But everyone wants to focus on Trae Young not being good at defense. The problem with Trae Young is his ability to play with his team more so than anything. I think he falls between 17 and 22. Between that range is very good. I have him as 22nd on my list. I don't think Lauri Markkanen being 28 is really bad. I have him between 26 and 31, but I'm also not really sold on him, so I have him as 31st on my list. I watched Team USA. I'm very worried about Brandon Ingram after watching that because I've been very high on him going into next year. But the ESPN had him at 27, and I actually agree with the 27th ranking. He's between 25 and 30. I love Drew Holiday, but I think he should be between 30 and 35, and I have him as 35 on my list. But again, I love Drew Holiday. He is one of the better players in the NBA. He's top 5 defensively in my eyes. He's the best defensive guard, but people are overplaying into the hype of the Celtics team when they're ranking him. Pascal Siakam is very, very underrated. I think he should be between 18 and 23, and I have him as 20, but 25, that's more love than a lot of people have been showing him, so I'm not even going to complain too much about ESPN having them there. Kawhi Leonard at 24. Oh, he's one of the hardest players to rank, but I just don't think people actually watched the Clippers at the end of last year when Kawhi was healthy. He was phenomenal when he was healthy. He looked like a top 5 player in the NBA when he was healthy. But again, reliability is one of the bigger things in this. So I say Kawhi Leonard has one of the biggest ranges. I think you could place him as high as 4 right now, and as low as 15. And he has to be between that. Now, if you don't talk about health or anything, I think he is top 5. But you look at all the other factors. So I have him as 12th, considering my 3 factors. But 4th and 15th is the range, and they have him as 24. No, that is terrible. That is so bad. And I know you all see the Kings like the beam shirt. De'Aaron Fox is my second favorite player, and he's slowly going over Chris Paul as Chris Paul slowly winds down to the end of his career. But I know where he should respectfully be ranked, and I think ESPN got it right. He is 23rd. However, they have Sabonis ahead of him. But De'Aaron Fox's range is 18 to 23. But Sabonis being ahead of him, let's just look at Sabonis real quick. They have Sabonis at 22. I think he is 35 to 40. Now, I know he had a great regular season, but this offense, the whole offensive structure around the Kings makes him look a lot better than he actually is, in my personal opinion. He's not a great defender, and there's just a lot to not like about Sabonis. And then you watch the playoffs, and he got embarrassed. So I think he's between 35 and 40 range, and I have him at 37. I'm here for the Tyrese Halliburton hype. But, oh boy, 21st is very, very, very high for him after 1 year, and he was hurt the whole year. I think he falls between 27 and 32. I have him as 27, but 21 is... Woo! Well, that's really, really high. Karl-Anthony Towns at 20. What do I have to say about him? Karl-Anthony did have a down year. I think 20's high. I think 25 to 30 is respectful and respectable, but I do not think he is in the top 20. I have him as 30 on my list. Jaylen Brown is very, very hard to rank. They have him top 20 at 19. I think the Celtics team is very, very good to a point where it's starting to make Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum very, very overrated. Because if you switched any of the players, some of the players that are ranked below Jaylen Brown, if you switched him with them and he went to being a 1 option and they went to being a 2 option, they're top 20, if not top 15 player definitively. That's just how Celtic media works, and that's just how good I think the Celtics team really is. So I'm not here for the Jaylen Brown top 20 hype, but I do think he's definitely top 35. I have him at 31. I think he falls anywhere between 28 and 33, though. Respectfully, I'm a Paul George Glazer. I admit it fully. But I think this is actually not even that bad of a ranking, having him at 18. I have him at 16, but I think 15 to 20 is his range. I think Jamal Murray is great, but I also think this is very, very high, having him at 17. I would personally put him between 22 and 27, and I have him as 24. Still a top 25 player, but 17 is high. I don't think he's top 20 just yet. And at 16, we have another questionable ranking, and it's Bam at 16. I think Bam's great defensively, but offensively, I'm not really sold on him. I don't think he's top 20. He's definitely top 30. I have him at 29. I think Donovan Mitchell is very, very underrated, but ESPN somehow managed to overrate him in this list by putting him at 15. I think he falls between 17 and 19. I have him at 17. I think people do forget how good he actually is. Damian Lillard at 14. I think they got it right. I have him at 14 too. At least I think. But 12 to 15 is his range. He'll probably move up if the Bucks have a really good year. That's just how it works. And then at 13, we got Anthony Edwards. I'm here for it, but 13's very, very high. I think he falls 17 to 22 range. I don't think he's better than Damian Lillard yet. I don't think he's better than Donovan Mitchell yet. I think he's at 18, and then again, 17, 22 range. There's just, people need to chill out. I'm one of the people that needs to chill out, but I'm trying to be as honest and like limit my personal beliefs and bias here, and people need to chill out, including me. Jimmy Butler at 12. I think Jimmy Butler has to be higher than Jason Tatum, especially after last year. I don't see a way around that. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, Jimmy Butler is better than Jason Tatum as of right now. And that's why I think he should be between 7 and 11. And I personally have Jimmy Butler at 8. You just can't look past what you just saw last year of him in the playoffs. And then Devin Booker at 11. And we're going to get to the top 10 right after that. But I agree. I think Devin Booker is 11. He's been slightly becoming very, very overrated, but they managed not to overrate him here. I think he falls between the 9 and 12 range, and 11 is absolutely perfect. Round of applause, ESPN. Round of applause. You got like 2 right. Congratulations. Now moving into the top 10 range, we got Anthony Davis. I also agree with ESPN here. That's back to back. I think he's 9 to 12 range as well as Booker. But round of applause for ESPN. LeBron James at 9 is pretty disrespectful. I think he falls between the 5 and 8 range. And I think he falls at 5. I think he's top 5. After what I saw, he can get a bucket anytime still. He just needs to want it more. He doesn't really want it that much. That's one of my biggest problems with LeBron. But he's a top 5 player in the NBA still. SGA at 8 is very, 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 very high. I don't think he's cracked the top 10 yet. I don't think he's better than Devin Booker yet. I don't think he's better than LeBron. I don't think he's better than AD. I don't think he's better than Jimmy Butler. And that's where I cut it off. And I would say he falls between the 11 and 15 spots. And I personally have him at 13. The Super Team Fiend at 7. They got him in range. I think he's 4 to 8. I have him at 6. I keep flipping him and LeBron back and forth, but I don't think after last year you can really say Kevin Durant's better than LeBron. Jason Tatum at 6. Again, I think he's very, very overrated if I haven't said it yet in this video. But I think he should fall between the 8 to 12 range. I personally have him at 9. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Steph Curry at 5 is one of the least intelligent things I think ESPN has done in this list, because you can't tell me after last year Steph Curry's not top 3. Now, I know the top 4, we all know the top 4 players right now. You can put Curry at 3 or 4. I personally have him at 3. I think he's 3 or 4 though. Luka Doncic at 4. I think he falls 3 to 5 range. I personally can't put him ahead of Steph Curry yet, but a lot of people do, and I'm not bringing my bias in here, so I say 3 to 5. You can put him as the 3rd best player, the 4th best player, the 5th best player, but you can't put him outside the top 5. But they put him at 4. And I personally agree with that. The reigning MVP, Joel Embiid, is at 3. I get that he just won the MVP, but he is not a top 3 player. He's not top 5 if you ask me. You can put him between 5 and 9. I have him at 7. There's just a lot of players I'm taking over Embiid, long story short, and I don't think anybody is going to get mad unless they're a Sixers fan of me saying that Embiid's not top 3. And then we have Jokic. He's at number 2. I personally agree, but again, he's 1 or 2, and he's not anything else. He is a top 2 player, and let's just go to Giannis because it's the same with Giannis. I agree with him being at number 1, right? But you can put him at 1 or 2, no lower. You can't put either of those 2 players lower. And I personally agree. Now let me add the 6 players that I'm going to be adding in that weren't in the top 50. We start at number 62 with Porzingis. I'm not a Porzingis fan, but he deserves to be top 50. I think he should be between the 40 and 50 range, and I have him at 45. ESPN has Desmond Bain at 61. I think there are 43 players better than him, but not 60. Right? Yeah, 61. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, I have him at 44. I think he should fall between the 40 and 45 range. I thought DeJounte Murray being at 60 was one of the more disrespectful things on this list. I think he should be between 40 and 45 range, as well as Desmond Bain. I personally have him as 43. The most controversial ranking on this list was Zion Williamson at 57. I just want to ask what we were doing at ESPN headquarters when we were making this list, because no matter how you look at it, you can't justify having him this low. People are saying, Zion never plays, Zion never does that. But when he did play last year, his team went from the 1 seed in the loaded Western Conference, and then they missed the playoffs when they didn't have him. You can say what you want about reliability, which is why I don't have him. I have him between 15 and 25. All right? I have him at 19 on my list respectfully. But he is top 25. There are not 56 players that if you put them on their team and they're the 1 seed in their conference, then you take them away and their team just gets that much worse to missing the playoffs. There's no way you justify this ranking. And if you disagree with him being 15 to 25 range, or at minimum top 25, or 30 for that matter, because some people are acting like he's not top 30. If you disagree with that, you are purely delusional and you don't watch enough basketball and you don't have basketball knowledge. This is one of the worst rankings I have ever seen. 57 for a dude that team went from the 1 seed to out of the playoffs. No, that's terrible. I don't think Draymond Green at 55 was terrible. I have him from the 48 range to the 55 range. I think he's at 48 though, respectfully. And the last player we're talking about before I show you my official top 50 is Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is the second best player on the Warriors. I don't think you can really look at last year too much. Now, I know I've been saying all video. I'm going to admit, I'm bringing a lot of my own personal opinion and bias into ranking Andrew Wiggins here. I'm saying he's 42nd, and he should be between the 45 and 40 spots. All right. Last year was just really unfortunate circumstances with the off the court things that happened. So I personally think you can't bring that into this as much as I think ESPN is. I think he is a top 45 player. I think he is the second best player on the Warriors. When the Warriors had him fully healthy. The Warriors have never had that height the past 2 years. But they had Andrew Wiggins averaging a double-double in the finals. And a phenomenal postseason. And when they didn't have him, they looked terrible. Like when he wasn't 100%. So I don't think he's outside the top 50. I think he's 42nd. But that, again, I'm bringing my bias into this. But yeah, Andrew Wiggins should be a lot higher. Feel free to pause the video here. This is my top 50. I'm not going to read through it because I don't think any of us have time for that. But yeah, Let me know what your thoughts on this list is, but I want you to more focus on the ranges that I gave in the video rather than just looking at my personal spot, because we all have our own personal opinions. No one agrees with every single thing, or else there would be no conflict in the world. There's conflict in the world, and that's why I have my personal opinion and you have yours. So as long as you respect the ranges, then yeah, I think we can agree on a lot of these players. Thank you all for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed. I really hope that we can agree on the ranges. And if you want to see my live reaction to it, click on this video right here and click on this video. I don't know what it will be, but I think it's my 4 blockbuster trades that I made. I don't believe they'll all happen. I don't think any of them will happen, but they were fun to make. So click on either of these videos and don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.